Hello, my name is Trydar. Today I'm going to be showing you how to build a Great Wall of China in Minecraft. Let's get started. Well, here it is, the Great Wall of China, one of history's most famous defensive structures. Otherwise known as the Wanli Changcheng. Sorry for the terrible pronunciation. I did my best. But that means the 10,000 li long wall. Now, I tried to look it up, and apparently a li is about 500 meters, which in Minecraft terms is about 500 blocks. So 10,000 of those, if I did the math right, that would be a 5 million block long wall. And that's a pretty serious wall. I don't think, I mean, you can build one that long if you want to. I don't think anyone ever will, but, you know, if you want to, we have all the parts here. The wall I'm presenting to you today is going to be the wall kind of as it would have appeared in the Ming Dynasty, otherwise known as the Da Ming or the Great Ming, from, 1350 to 1650, thereabouts, would be when they would have constructed something like this. Earlier walls would have been made of actually rammed earth, which in Minecraft terms, that's actually dirt. So, yeah, I guess the ancient Chinese really liked playing Minecraft, building all their dirt walls and everything, just like any good self-respecting Minecraft player would. But they built the original walls quite a long time ago. I think those were actually put up under the first emperor, Emperor Qin Shi Huang. And not a very nice man by all accounts, but he did get the Great Wall started. There were a lot of walls before that, but they were all disjointed sections, kind of like we have back here. But of course his big idea was to join them all together into a Great Wall, and that's when it became known as the Wanli Changcheng. And so it is to this day. Of course, as far as defensive structures go, I mean, as far as effectiveness, it's debatable. I mean, you know, sometimes it served as a wall, other times it served like as kind of a trade barrier, kind of like Hadrian's Wall did in England. And other times, it was variously crossed over by the Mongols or whoever happened to be coming through at that point in time. Sometimes China's bounds would extend beyond the Great Wall. Sometimes they would extend behind the Great Wall, depending on which dynasty was in power. So it's, you know, there's a lot of variation on that. But as far as defensive structures go, I think we have to give it up to the walls of Constantinople. As far as maximum effectiveness before gunpowder was invented, but as far as for sheer size and legendary status, of course, the Wanli Changcheng here, the Great Wall, certainly takes the cake. So I think that's a lot of the backstory. Let's take a look at the walls here in Minecraft that I've designed myself. Now, as you can see here, we of course, you know, have a serious set of walls right here with the usual wall segments. Of course, this is going to be a modular wall, so I'll be showing you first the gatehouse here in the middle, and then the tower module, and then the wall segments here. And depending on what sort of layout you want to have for your Wanli Changcheng, you can design it however you want to. Now, there aren't. We'll see later on. There are some modules in here I will show you if you want to bend this wall. If you want to have it go off in an angle, or if you want to have it go up, or if you want to have it wiggle around, there are some ways that I will explain that you will be able to do that. In fact, I think most of this video today is probably going to be exposition, and then we will actually start in on the block sequences on the next one. But for the moment, let's just appreciate the wall as it stands here. I have a couple of Asian themed lions on either side of the wall here. These already have their own tutorials, by the way, the Asian lion sculptures. So if you want to go ahead and put those up, you can. Of course, we have a nice big gatehouse here in our wall. And at the top here, we of course have the ornamental Chinese Asian-style curvy roofs and everything on top of that as well. So let's take a closer look, I think, at some of these. Now, as with this style of architecture, it gets really, really complicated as we get higher and higher up. It starts off becoming very simple at the bottom, but as we go higher and higher, we add more complexity. Everything's, curving around and sticking out and everything. It's good. It'll be, I don't think it'll be too big of a challenge, but it is a bit intricate. Let's see, where shall we begin now? So I think let's first talk about the various modules back here. So as you can see, as I said, right here we have a gatehouse module, which of course consists of a gate. And then there are a couple of rooms and levels behind here inside this tower. It's not just a solid structure behind there. It will have some spaces in there if you so choose for that. But for the moment, didn't put a door, but if I just knock a hole in here and have a little night vision, you can see that we have a tunnel and, of course, another door over here leading us out the other side. And here is, of course, a tower module. You can see here we've got the wall segment module right here. We've got a little piece of that stuck on the side right back here, and this is, of course, going to be your access into the tower itself. So let's go ahead and take a look at one of those. I'll just knock a hole in here, and if we go in here, we've got a nice little pillared hallway with some paper lanterns hanging down, with some sea lanterns and everything. Like so. And if we go up our ladder here, we can access the next level, which has another room here for you to put things in. And of course, if we keep going, we've got another level up here, a taller level, some more paper lanterns hanging down, and we can continue going up a little bit more. Up here to what I think is the top level, the topmost attic level, underneath the roof. So as you can see, we do have a number of interior rooms in here of various shapes, sizes, and descriptions for you if you would like to, use these for more than just a defensive structure. Let's see, where's the door out? And that'll be right there. And of course, it's functional. You can, walk out onto your wall there. You can walk out from this segment onto just straight over there if you wanted to build a segment here. It looks like I remember to put the doors in this one, but I apparently forgot to in that one. So in here, this is, of course, inside our towers. And you're going to be building quite a lot of towers. Well, there's a little preview back over there. Something we'll be talking about a bit later on. Here we, of course, can go up our ladders. We have a couple of levels in these towers. Of course, the gatehouses, I imagine you'll be building comparatively few of those. So they are a bit larger and more decorated. But since you'll be building many towers, most likely, these are a bit more basic. Like so up here, and here's our topmost level, the little paper lantern hanging down. And from here, we have various balconies that we can stand on right there, all around the perimeter there, to survey our lands, to make sure no one's trying to get through the Great Wall. Let's see. As for the wall segments, what you see is what you get here. It's a basic wall segment. I have exaggerated the bricks on these. The one Li Cheng Ching itself would have been made of smaller bricks, something akin to the actual blocks of bricks that we have. But we don't have a very good analog for those, so I decided to, it just looks a bit better from a distance if we make the individual bricks a bit larger and exaggerate them in this way here. I think it makes a very imposing wall myself. It's one of these things that we have to do. Well, you know, Minecraft. We have to sometimes change around some elements of historical designs to best fit in and look good with what we have to work with, which is, of course, you know, the humble Minecraft block. Now, as you can see here, the interior fill is made up of just filler blocks. You don't have to fill these solid. These are just going to be extras. I'm probably not going to include these in the list of materials because it wouldn't do you much good anyway, because you're going to be building quite a large number of these segments and towers and everything. There will be, as you would have seen in the opening sequence, there are block counts for first the gatehouse, second the tower module, and then third we will do this module here for the wall segments. And if we stand on our battlements here, you can see we do have sections here for you to stand in if you want to shoot arrows out, but quickly duck back and, you know, and juke back and forth between here and there, so they can be useful defensive battlements. I tried to design them based off of the crenellations that are on the Great Wall, and render them down into Minecraft blocks anyway. So let's go over here. So as I said, the first segment we will take a look at, probably starting in the next video, will be the gatehouse. And we're going to do that, of course, one block section at a time. Right here, it's of course going to be our foundation level for that, and then after that, there are going to be a number of wall segments. I like to put, towers. I like to build a gatehouse and then put 2 towers on either end of that. I think it makes a nice juxtaposition between that and the other towers. Makes it look really cool. So that's going to be the footprint for those. Pretty simple, really. And then there's, of course, going to be the wall segment. Really basic for that as well. Now, of course, these wall segments, as you can see here, these are just flat, straight segments. In other words, if you want a wall that's just flat, that just makes, 90-degree turns, you can do that by just building these straight segments. Conversely, if you want to have a 90-degree bend, all you need to do is take this face of the tower right here, just up to this level here. The topmost section is symmetrical on all 4 sides. But then you would just need to put that over here, and then instead build this wall segment at a 90-degree bend right there if you wanted to make a curve. Now, conversely, you don't specifically have to do that. There is going to be another way to achieve that, which I'm going to talk about right now, which is just behind me over there. So, as I said, we can take our straight wall segment here. This here is a copy of that, and what we are doing here, every every 4 blocks, you can see here we are shifting the entire module back by 1 block. See, just like so. Take a look at that from the top. And the backside is just the same there. And if we build a number of those beside each other, we can get our wall going off at an angle here. So you can see I'm facing straight here, and the wall is going off to the left, just like so. And if we take a look down here, the pattern doesn't get too mangled. We can still tell it's supposed to be a wall. It's just slightly bent over every 4 blocks. Over in that direction there. Well, I suppose not quite every 4th block. I think for this one here, I bent it. I didn't bend it quite as much. I bent 4, 4, 4, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 4 again, and then another 4, 4, and then 6, and then 4, 4, 4, and 6 again. So you can see you don't necessarily have to go in increments of 4. You could go in a 4, 4, 4, and a 6 to get a different angle. It's all going to depend on exactly what, the path that you've laid out for your wall. So in keeping with that, let's go back here and take a look at another one. This right here, this is another copy of that section there, our wall module, the straight one, except it's bent every 2 blocks, which means for every block we would build, we would just shift over to our left here and build the wall segment, but we would build it, of course, just a block over that way. And if we did that every 2 blocks, and we continued for some distance here, we would end up with a wall that looks, something like this here. So this here is an example of a bent wall using the wall modules. In the very final part of the video, after we do that straight module there, we're going to do more in-depth study on how you can use this to shift all the modules. There's still some more things I need to talk about before we get over to that specifically. All right. Now this section here, because as you probably know, the Wan Li Chang Cheng is very famous for being built on top of mountain ridges. And those are generally not straight and level like this. So while I'm giving you first the option to build the wall straight and level, like if you just want to build, around the city or something, that'd be a good straight and level wall. But let's say you were really adventurous, and there's going to be somebody out there that wants to build these like over an extreme hills biome or something. So to that end, what for this module here? Okay. Now this is another copy of our first wall module we started with all the way back down there. You can see we then bent that 2 blocks to the left. Well, now we're bending it 2 blocks up. It's still a straight wall module, but as you can see, it's being bent up. So every 2 blocks that we would go over this way, we're now going a block up instead. We're just stair-stepping it up like so. And if you continue that on for a little distance, you would get a wall that looks something like that. All right, now the chaos doesn't end there, because this here is an example of a wall that is not only bent 2 blocks up, it is bent a block over for every 2 blocks. So this small module here, this is a combination of that one and this one. In other words, this one is going up and over. You can see here. So I'm facing straight here, so we can see here that the wall is stair-stepping up and to our left. And here is just a longer version of that wall there. All right. So you can see by slicing the wall module up, you can actually make it go in a number of different angles. You can either leave it level and have it go off either to the right or to the left. You can have it straight and just have it angle up, or conversely, you can have it angle and rise at the same time. All right. Now the chaos doesn't even end there, because as you can see behind me here, we have a bit more to talk about. Because the wall didn't exactly do a whole lot of modules like this. It mostly did a lot of wiggles like this. And it gets a little messy in there with the pattern. That's just something we have to live with in Minecraft. But let's take a look at that on the ground first. So if we wanted to have our wall just sort of gracefully wiggle around like a dragon, we could have it do something like this here. So let's take a look at that. There's probably not much point in counting out the numbering for this now. We'll reserve that until the final part of the series when we're doing the advanced topics after you've gotten all the basics under you. I'm just introducing you to what we're going to be talking about a lot in depth later on. So you can see here the block sequence is changing You can see here we're going from like a 3 to a 2, 1, 2, and then 1, 1, 1, 1, and a 2, 1, 2, 3, and probably what, 5, 5, 6, and I don't know, 10, 10, 11, 12. Something along those lines there. If we take a look at that from the top, we can see we've got a nice, graceful bend in our wall there. It does look a little bit narrow as we come in there, but that's just kind of something, that's just an artifact of Minecraft that we have to live with because they're blocks. But this wall is so big that you're not really going to notice that too much, so I think we can live with it. But as you can see, if you vary how much you shifted over, you remember we first started with doing, what, 4, 4, 4, and 6, and then 2, 2, 2, and 2. Well, here, if you want to vary it, just like so, you can curve this out and make any sort of wall design you want to using only one wall module design that I'm going to show you back down there in a moment. Now the craziness reaches its ultimate conclusion here, where we, of course, have that same wall that we just took a look at, but it's also rising a block every time it moves over a block. And you can see here, every time we are moving over a block, we're also going up by one block. And when you do that, you get some crazy wiggling wall just like this here, which is, of course, more reminiscent of the classic 1D Cheng Cheng that we are all familiar with. See? So the reason I didn't include a 90-degree tower segment is because the wall segments in between that can really be wiggled around in any direction you want without having to have a hard corner to it. That's where this particular wall series is going to depart from my previous wall series. They were all straight 90-degree angles, and they were all flat. But since we have to do the 1D Cheng Cheng justice, so we're going the extra mile on that one here. You can see. Now for this one, you are going to have to do an awful lot of extra work for wherever exactly you want to build this wall in your world. You can decide, maybe you just want the flat segments that angle out, or maybe you want some of these segments that wiggle around and go up, but they're still straight. But some of you out there, I know, are going to want this behind me here. And with that said, there are a number of ways that you can approach doing that. So here is our wall segment again, that we're familiar with. And I have sliced that up into a couple of sections here. And you can actually simplify this entire wall module down to only this section here. This is the repeating section of the wall module. And you can see here. So it's not a whole lot. I mean, you're going to have to be building a lot of wall, but the pattern I've chosen for this is it's all whole blocks. So I don't think it's going to be too difficult for you. Once you've done, like a dozen of these, you ought to be able to do the rest of them pretty much in your sleep. But like I said, let's see, I've simplified that down to what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slices right here. And we will take a look at these in detail in the last part of the video. Well, in the last part of the series, anyway. It's going to be one of these long multi-part series, I think. I don't know, four or 5 parts, depending. But you can see all the filler blocks. I've tried to optimize the filler blocks for these so it'll be easier to count and everything out. But those slices right there, those are just the 90-degree sliced up sections of this wall module right here. In other words, this slice through the wall, right there, that slice, this is the same slice, it's just one block wide and rotated 90 degrees. The second block over from there is going to be the second slice. The third block over from that is going to be the third slice, and so on and so forth. Now, of course, as I said, the reason I've done that this way is because what you would need to do first is decide really, you would need to decide to draw a line wherever you want your wall, right here where the red is. Right there. And let's say we want our wall to do one of these crazy ascending, wiggling constructions. So we would drop that down to 3, 2, and so on and so forth. You can see we're moving one block over as we do. I think moving one block over is probably the maximum that you can do with this wall design. And still have the pattern show and everything. But for this one, let's see here. In other words, if you wanted to replicate that pattern with this one, see here where I'm placing the red? See here, see like it's right beside the cobbled deep slate. Back down here, you would want to take these individual blocks of cobbled deep slate down here and build the appropriate sequence of slices all along whatever line it is that you've chosen back down here. See? So you've got the cobbled deep slate down there at the bottom beside our survey line. And then from there, once you've got the first block down, you would know where the rest of the slice went. So if we took this and we made individual slices of each one of these, and we took our very small wall module down here, remember this is the repeating section, and we sliced that up and built one slice at a time, but built it along the red line right there, the survey line. You ought to be able to come out with something resembling this here. Now, of course, everyone's world is different, and everyone's going to have a different line of everything. So, since your survey line is going to be different from everyone else's, the best I can do is show you the modules and the slices, and do the long form explanation of how you can use that to make these individual wall segments for yourself, in case you want to have, in case you want to do something really, really adventurous. But if you just want to have some basic city walls, or you just want a smaller fort or something, you can, of course, just use the flat sections that we started with, our basic wall module down here, and you don't really have to wade off into this stuff. This is just, it's just something I don't normally do for the wall tutorials that I have done in the past, because this particular wall, the one the Chang Ching, is known for being, wiggling around on top of mountains. So we really had to do all of that extra for it. But like I said, I've tried to make the tutorial complete enough that you can use as much or as little of these modules as you so desire, really. And I think that's probably all of the main exposition and the backstory and the history out of the way. So I think that's probably going to do, that's probably all the time we have for today. Next time in part 2, we will tackle the gatehouse. So I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.